Hello students, welcome to social science class. Today let us continue the history unit 8. In last class we have discussed about the some video I have sent, maybe you have seen that one, and in that maybe you have learned about the Gandhi March, Swaraj Party and reasons for the civil disobedience movements, etc. And after the Gandhi March, so many leaders were arrested by the British government like Vijayalakshmi Pandit, Kamala Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Gandhiji. Like that, so many important leaders were arrested by British government because of the salt satyagraha. Now let us continue. In that time, a meeting of Indian legislative representative was held in London in 1930. And this is known as the first round table conference. And according to this conference, they conveyed the message that the government alone cannot take any decision according to the Indian government. So they wanted to include the Indian leaders also. So they conducted that meeting that is known as the first round table conference. In that time, for the first time, representation was given to untouchable community at the conference. They included the representatives of untouchable community also in this meeting in order to facilitate the participation of leaders. The imprisoned leaders like Gandhi and many other Congress leaders were released from the prison. Already we discussed that they were arrested by the British government, but in order to participate in this first round table conference, the British government released these important leaders like Gandhiji and other leaders from the prison. Many leaders representing various communities and kingdoms, they participated in this meeting like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, M.R. Jayakar, Tej Bahadur Sapu, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Srinivas Shastri, etc. And after this conference, they approved the dominion status for the Indians and responsible government and religious representation. But the Indian National Congress did not participate in the first round table conference. So we can say this first round table conference was incomplete because the main leaders of Indian National Congress and the National Congress representatives were not there in that conference. In order to make the roundtable conference a success, a pact means agreement they made between Viceroy Irwin and Gandhiji. And according to this pact, the Congress stopped the civil disobedience movement and agreed to participate in the second table conference. And this pact is known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact. By means Gandhiji and the Viceroy Irwin had signed in this pact. And according to this pact, they stopped the civil disobedience movement and they agreed to participate in the second roundtable conference. And in this conference, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Muhammad Ali Jinnah also participated. And next we have to see about the second roundtable conference. In this second round table conference, Ambedkar he argued for the separate electoral constituency for untouchable people. Separate electoral constituency argued for the untouchable community, but this was opposed to by Gandhi. Gandhiji was against his opinion, and this resulted the ideological difference between Gandhiji and Ambedkar. And because of this only, second round table conference also ended without any conclusion. By means there was some ideological difference between Ambedkar and Gandhiji. So it is ended without any conclusion. But the British government announced its decision to provide separate electoral constituency for the untouchables. But the British government agreed with the Ambedkar and they allowed the separate electoral constituency for the untouchable community. And it implemented communal award in 1932. But Mahatma Gandhi opposed this and he started fasting unto death. And these efforts were made to convince Ambedkar. He made this one to convince the Ambedkar. As a result, because of this opposition of Gandhiji, Pune Pact was made. Pune Pact means some agreement. Pune agreement was entered. According to this agreement, some constituency were reserved for untouchables among the general constituency. From the general constituency, some means a few constituency they made for the untouchable community. In such constituency, the untouchable became the representative of all. It's in like this separate constituency, untouchable constituency they made. In that only the untouchable became the representatives. This was a second round table conference. Next, let us see third round table conference. What was the background of that one? The British government instructed for the British government instructed for the formation of federal government system in India at the center and the provincial government in our country. In this background, the third round table conference was organized. The Congress did not participate in this conference opposing the decisions of the government, but the Congress, they were against the decision of the government, so they did not participate in the third round table conference. As a result of this round table conference, the British brought in Government of India Act in 1935. Already you have learned that one. And this act provided for federal structure at the center and the regional autonomy at the state level. Two types of government they made, central government and the state level. And political rights were now available for Indians, and they given some political rights for the Indians. As a result, the Congress and the Muslim League participated in this election, and the Congress gained majority and they formed the government. Because of this Government of Act of 1935, Indians got the political rights. And so the Indians like Congress and the Muslim League, they participated in the election, and in that election Congress gained a majority and they formed a government. By this time, due to various political developments at Europe, in that time the World War II had started, and the Viceroy, he declared Indians to join in the Second World War against Germany in the part of the England. But the Congress were against this decision, and Gandhiji declared personal satyagraha against the decision of the Viceroy. Then the England means British government, they sent Stratford Cripps to India to speak about this, like to join in the war. As a mediator, they sent Stratford Cripps to India. Next, we have to learn about Quit India movement. It was in 1942. Already we learned that Stratford Cripps were sent to India as a mediator to participate in the World War II. And the Stratford Cripps Commission, which was sent by the British government, they proposed some suggestions in front of the Indians, like according to the dominion status to India, and they are going to call a meeting to draft a new constitution. And it was proposed that all states will have liberty to part in the new federation or not. According to their wish, they can participate in a new, means all the states will have liberty to participate in the new federation, means new government. These proposals were opposed by Congress and called for Quit India movement. And the Quit India movement declared that British, you quit India. That is the Quit India movement. And Gandhi gave a call to the fellow Indians, all the Indians, to do or die. As a result, leaders like Gandhiji, Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Abdul Kalam Azad, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Acharya Kripalini and Kasturba, they all were arrested and imprisoned by the British. And since most of the Congress leaders were jailed, non-Congress organization, another organization took place, because all the leaders were arrested by the British and they were in jail. And some new organization that took their lead to this movement, and this movement created some leaders also like Jayaprakash Narayan. They provided leadership for this movement, and he was the leader of socialist wing of Congress, and he along with his supporter, and they engaged in the revolutionary work and the socialist, and afterwards these leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and all, they led this Quit India movement, and the socialists formed a group called Freedom Struggle Front and outlined their strategies, and they give some training for these factory workers, and they called for the support for the common people, and they collected money. These all work they did under the leadership of Jayaprakash Narayan, and they called for the support. These people provided hope to India in its difficult time. And meanwhile, efforts were made outside the border of India too, and the efforts of Subhash Chandra Bose were really commendable in this direction. We have to remember Subhash Chandra Bose also made more help for this movement. After the election of 1937, the Muslim League was kept out of the government formation because we already learned that the Congress got the majority in that election. So, in the Muslim League was kept out of the government formation. When the Congress walked out of the government in 1939, the Congress were against the decision of the Viceroy to participate in the World War II. The Congress walked out of the government. This time, Muslims celebrated this walkout as a Vimukti Divas. Hence, the Muslim League did not participate in the Quit India movement, and it proposed for the division of India. They proposed to divide India. I hope you have understood these all topics. First round table conference, second round table conference, third round table conference, and Quit India movement. Next topics we will discuss in next class. Thank you, students.